3 months before the wedding, my girlfriend tried to appease her lover by sending her sister to deal with me. Since then, every time we met, it was actually her sister who showed up. I didn't expose the truth. I kept preparing for the wedding with dedication. A week before the wedding, Christina pushed me against the door, trembling with anger. "Simon, why is my sister the bride's name on the invitation? There's still time to change it back." I grinned. "Why should we change it? For the last 3 months, it's been your sister in bed with me." After a meeting with some clients, I texted my fiancé. "I'm at Rose Restaurant, drank too much, please pick me up." The reply came fast. "'Kay baby, I'll be right there." I turned off my phone screen and relaxed in my chair. I toyed with my phone absent-mindedly, a small smile on my face. 10 minutes later, a red Porsche pulled up at the restaurant entrance. I slid into the passenger seat. The woman handed me a cup of warm honey water. "Drink this, it'll help with the hangover. Don't want you to have a headache." I held my head with one hand, smiling brightly at her, while my other hand brushed against hers, slowly taking the honey water. Softly, I said, "Thank you, darling, you're so good to me." Her eyes filled with a hidden depth. She glanced at me in silence and started the car. I leaned back, satisfied, admiring her delicate profile and long lashes. With the occasional passing headlights, her face looked even softer and more beautiful. She was easy on the eyes and captivating. I knew this woman wasn't my fiancée, she was my fiancé's twin sister. My fiancée is Christina. We look good together and are well matched. I'm into appearances, and Christina's looks fit my taste perfectly. So we fell in love, got engaged, and had our wedding photos taken. The wedding was set for 3 months later. I trusted Christina enough not to question her whereabouts or check her phone. Even so, she still found a fresh graduate outside to keep her company. The guy was hot-headed, quick to threaten a breakup. But Christina loved that kind of thing, so she lowered herself to soothe him. So I wouldn't find out, she thought of a brilliant plan. She asked her twin sister to deal with me. When I found out, I wasn't even that mad. I just thought Christina was laughably stupid. She must have lost her brain while cheating. Maybe others couldn't tell them apart, but for me, they're easily distinguishable. Christina was loud and lively, while Karina was calm and reserved. I thought it was interesting and decided not to reveal the truth. For the past month, whenever I asked to meet Christina, Karina showed up instead. They share the same face that pleases me, but Karina's eyes showed more complex and overwhelming emotions. It was intriguing. Karina treated me well, always granting my requests. Even if I crazily wanted to go to the beach in the middle of the night, she wouldn't say no. But every time I pretended to call her Christina, she'd look down and keep quiet. I was pretty sure this woman liked me, holding it back for who knows how long. Maybe she never overstepped because of my engagement with her sister. But now, I think at my wedding the bride's name could be switched. Toss away the spoiled ones. Why settle when there's something better? When we got home, I tossed my suit jacket on the couch, walking unsteadily. Karina, at a distance, reached out to steady me. I swayed, softly exclaimed, and fell precisely into her arms, instantly enveloped by her embrace. I chuckled softly, gently moving my fingers from her stomach to her chest. My wrist was seized. A gentle, restrained voice. "Simon, stop fooling around." "This is fooling around? I'm planning to sleep with you." I wrapped my arms around her slender waist, pressing myself close, so close the air couldn't pass between us. My gaze traveled from her deep eyes to her lips, thin and red. Those lips would be softer, more satisfying to kiss. Karina turned her head away. "Simon, you're drunk." "I'm not. I'm wide awake." I didn't give her a chance to speak, leaning down to kiss her. Karina's eyes widened in shock, and her grip on my waist tightened. "See, no use pretending. You wanted to kiss me so bad." The kiss grew wilder. I pulled on her scarf, stumbling as I pushed her into the room. I pushed her onto the bed with a firm move, pressing against her, kissing without restraint from her lips to her neck. The physical response couldn't be avoided. As I reached for her third button, my wrist was suddenly caught. Karina backed away an inch, her breath trembling as she frowned. Simon, no, I'm not. Karina. I called out her name directly. Karina froze, her breath stopping, her whole body stiffening as if frozen. Adorably so. Much cuter than her sister. I rested on her chest, leg pinning hers down, my fingertip brushing against her lips repeatedly. Karina, if I swapped the bride's name to yours, would you be willing? She paused for a long time, her voice hoarse. You know I'm not Christina? I chuckled, pecked her corner of the lip. Yeah, knew from the first look. I'm asking you, would you be willing? I'm serious. Say no, and I'll just tie her up and go for it. I, Simon, have never failed with a woman I've set my sights on. I patiently waited for a minute. Karina asked again, You won't regret it? I blinked innocently. No regrets at all. But you, think carefully. If you say no, would you regret it? Karina pressed her lips tight. I was still waiting on her reply, fingers already in motion. As I unbuttoned all the buttons on her shirt, she forcefully turned me over, pressing down and enveloping me in her shadow. Her kisses grew fiercer, and she felt so hot it was like she was burning up. Tomorrow we're going to reshoot our wedding photos. No way that's happening. Karina kept things going until late night. It's funny, she was always so proper, even leaving a polite distance between us when we walked together. But once things heated up, she was like a wild thing, like she wanted to squeeze every bit of life out of me. And honestly, I loved that wild side that didn't match her composed exterior. The way sweat dripped from her hair was incredibly sexy. I enjoyed it more than ever. The reshoot is scheduled for this weekend. While Karina was taking her solo shots, I fiddled with her phone and accidentally saw Christina's posts. She had this grid post full of photos with some guy, bungee jumping, hang gliding, rafting. Her caption was basically saying, Life is meant for going wild with the ones you love. Crazy, right? Engaged but off finding thrills with another guy. I gave her post a like while lounging back. Christina immediately messaged me. So, did last night go unnoticed? Did Simon find out? She's cuddling with another guy and still thinking of me. Huh? Barely moving my fingers, I typed back. Nah, thanks. I knew you were reliable. I'm gonna keep having fun for a couple of months. If Simon asks, cover for me. No worries. I smiled wryly. Covering for you is not a big deal, even if I had to cover the wedding. A shadow fell over me. What are you looking at? You look so happy. I met Karina's gaze. Nothing much, just playing with the dog. I handed the phone back to her. She glanced at it and then gave me a knowing look. I put a finger to my lips, signaling her to hush. Playing along with Christina's little drama is pretty entertaining. Karina caught on. She lifted a brow and leaned down. And how are you going to reward me? Smiling brightly, I leaned back and rewarded her with a minute-long kiss. Karina's all about the details when it comes to the wedding. From start to finish, she's involved in every little thing, spotting any potential flaw and dealing with it. With her handling things, I don't worry about a thing. Ever since we started dating seriously, I moved in with Karina. Might as well enjoy all the perks sooner, right? As for Christina, we almost lost touch, but I still catch her grid posts and sappy love quotes on Karina's feed every day. Over the top romantic, of course, all hidden from me. After a shower one night, with my hair dried and robe on, Christina called. But not for me, for her sister. Karina put it on speaker. Things going smoothly? Yeah. What's Simon up to? Karina shot me a playful look. Missing him? Why don't you reach out then? I'm just worried you'll be around him and blow my cover. I'm not coming back soon. I promised David I'd go to Paris for an art show. David's her young fling. Paris? How romantic. I pulled Karina onto my lap. Her eyes darkened a bit. Simon's been busy with wedding stuff. I raised a brow. Sure, wedding stuff kept him busy. Really, it's just me trying to woo her. No wonder, with Simon on it, the wedding's in good hands. After we're married, I'll make it up to him. Until then, help me keep this low-key. I will. Karina's tone shifted suddenly because I took that moment to bite down on her collarbone. What are you doing? Who are you with? Karina gave me a playful glare. I laughed uncontrollably. Nothing much, your brother-in-law just bit me. On the phone, I heard a shocked voice. No way. Who's the guy who broke your shell? Iron finally blooms, you've seen the light. I have to meet him when I get back. Karina grabbed my wandering hands. When you get back. Christina tried to probe further, but Karina quickly brushed her off and ended the call. She pinched my waist. Simon, you're causing trouble again. I laughed, pressing against her lips. You love it when I mess around like this. Look, you're blushing so hard right now. I teased her by blowing air into her face, resting my hand on her stomach. Karina's eyes were fiery. Everything was still right on track. Right after a meeting, my phone pinged with a new friend request. The profile pic looked familiar, from Christina's feed. Guess someone couldn't wait any longer. I accepted it, intrigued. Immediately, messages popped up. Hey, I've got some pictures you might want to see. Then came a flood of photos. Everyone was a close shot of Christina with some guy, hugging, kissing, all from their travels together. You know what this means, right? Not being the one loved. Better to bow out gracefully. Huh? The kid's too young, only knows these kinds of tricks. Might as well play along. I sank into my office chair, sipping coffee my assistant brought over. Photoshopped much? I'm with Christina all the time, and there's no way she had time for you. Stirring up discord? No deal. The typing indicator lingered for a while. You really think the person by your side is Christina? Somebody who can't tell his own wife's a joke. I crossed my legs, unfazed. Really? Then let's verify. I dialed Christina's phone. It rang for ages but finally got picked up. Baby, what's up? Christina, where are you right now? There was a slight pause on the line. I'm at work, of course. I calmly explained. I just got a bunch of travel pics from a guy. All cozy with you in 'em. Care to explain this? There was silence on the other end. Must be sweating buckets. I tapped my fingers on the table and changed the subject. But I feel like those photos are photoshopped. We see each other every day. How could you possibly have time to hang out with someone else, let alone in Paris? Christina gave a dry laugh, unnaturally replying, Yeah. Babe, don't believe it. There's gotta be scammers. I can't be in two places at once. How would I be abroad? Not sure how David would feel about that. Probably fuming on the side. I leaned back in my chair. All chill. I think you're right. Anyway, I'll hang up now. Wait, got something to say? Did you cancel that wedding planner we'd booked? I canceled all the wedding arrangements we had with Christina today. She probably got the notification on her phone. Yep, didn't like the old one, decided on something new. Why are you so surprised? You were right there when I did it. She chuckled awkwardly. My bad. Been so busy at work. I'm all mixed up. I teased. Forgetting stuff like this? Hope you didn't forget when the wedding is. No way. Christina replied quickly, but then tried to get off the phone, probably worried. Got an urgent matter at work. Talk later. Sure thing, come home early tonight. I'll make your favorite fish soup. I hung up first, feeling pretty good, humming a little tune. Teasing her was a blast. In the evening, it was Karina who got home first. I had just put the fish soup on the table when she hugged me from behind. Squeezed tight. What's up? Trying to choke me? Loosened her grip a bit, resting her head on my shoulder. You called Christina today. So? Jealous and upset. Karina's pouting. How could anyone resist that? I turned to face her, arms around her waist. Her lover messaged me today. Figured I'd scare Christina a bit. Her reactions keeping me amused for days. Really? You're jealous? You're the queen of jealousy? Karina's eyes sparkled like tiny diamonds in the light. I leaned down and gave her a playful nibble. Does that make it up to you? Her grip instantly tightened again. Breath shaky. Karina whispered in my ear. Christina's coming back next week. So soon? Still a month till the wedding. David can't keep it together. Huh? I squinted, scratching Karina's jawline. When she's back, what are your plans? Karina nibbled my ear, murmuring softly. Make her attend her sister's wedding properly. Christina couldn't return successfully. According to her story to Karina, David suddenly fell ill and needed treatment there. David's been feeling insecure, needs her company. Couldn't turn him down. Asked Karina to cover for her for another month. Figures. A guy who could hang on to Christina this long wouldn't just be good at rattling the main guy. Not that I'm the main guy either. Karina hugged me. Simon, when do you plan to tell Christina? I played with her fingers. Why tell her? Wouldn't it be better if she figured it out herself? Kinda curious, honestly. Wondering what Christina's face will look like when she finds out. Should be interesting. Karina smiled slyly, lightly brushing my nose with her curled finger. Mischievous. You like naughty? I've got plenty more where that came from. Kept my eyes locked on her, teasingly nibbling at her fingertip. Later, when Karina was cuddling up to sleep, her phone buzzed with a message. It was a recording from David, claiming territory again. Played it. Right at the beginning, there were heavy breaths. Christina was throwing around dirty talk, asking David if it felt good. David played along, his boyish voice dripping like water. With a sigh, I turned to Karina, playful. My ears have been violated. Karina cupped her hands around my ears. Don't listen to it. It's filthy. I grinned. No way, might get juicier. Skipped to the end where they were finally talking. Christina, compared to Simon, how am I? Why re you comparing yourself to him? Just wanna know, come on. Fine. You're younger, more handsome, a better sweet talker. I just can't resist throwing you on the bed every time I see you. Better? Love me then? Course I adore you. Madly in love, only you forever. Then marry me, not Simon? Christina paused, curious about her answer. She was the one who clung to me, promising to treat me like royalty. David prodded, Christina chuckling softly. Simon and I are a family arrangement, it's what the elders want. I can't defy them. Even if we marry, you're my true love. I'll buy you a house, visit you just like now. Soon as the chance comes, I'll leave Simon and marry my precious love. And that was it for the recording. Had me cracking up. Christina doesn't want out of the engagement, or can't get out. Hard to tell. When we got engaged, no one was happier than her. Turned to Karina, nudging her nose. Hear that? If she played the long game, I'd have actually married someone like her. Could you stand that? Karina, oh Karina, you used to put up with so much. If you liked me that much, how could you just watch me marry your sister? Karina gazed at me intensely for over 10 seconds. Then, she grabbed me, pulling me into a tight embrace. I used to think you liked her. I rolled my eyes and muttered under my breath. I liked her face. Since you look like her, I like you too. She gave my lower back a squeeze. So, you only like my face? Her hands started wandering again. Not wanting to scream myself hoarse, I quickly kissed her multiple times and moved her hands back to my waist. Well, I like everything. Time flew by. As the wedding got closer, David started sharing his daily love stories with Christina more often. Photos, voice notes, videos, pretty much everything except live streaming their intimate moments. Recently, he's been messaging a lot. Christina said that I'm her true love. What's the point of a marriage without love? You don't want to be stuck with someone whose heart isn't even in the home, right? I watched him like a monkey in a zoo, amused whenever I felt like it. What does it mean? What do you think it means? Guess. A week before the wedding, Christina made a post on social media. Even the best of days come to an end, it's time to welcome new beginnings. But some loves and memories linger, never fading with time. I couldn't agree more. Maybe, the sight of me marrying her sister will be a memory that never fades for her. There was a dinner event with a business partner tonight. Dressed in a suit and tie, I looked my best. I'm well versed in these functions, handling them with ease. By the end, there was a woman leaning against the Porsche parked by the entrance. I paused, leisurely observing her. 3 months had passed since I last saw her. She looked tanner, slightly heavier, less attractive. Really nowhere near her sister. Seeing me all dressed up seemed to take Christina aback, her eyes betraying her surprise. She adjusted her dress and walked up confidently, aiming for a hug. Simon. I sidestepped, letting her reach thin air, unfazed. I eyed her. She paused, puzzled. What's up? Why are you looking at me like that? I curved a slight smirk. Oh, nothing. Just realized you've changed a lot. Christina's stance stiffened. Like you went to Africa for a day and came back after eating an elephant. Your belt seems tight, your belly's definitely more noticeable. She glanced down at herself awkwardly, her laughter painfully awkward too. Oh really? Maybe I've gained some weight recently and you didn't notice. I chuckled, letting her change the topic. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Simon, you look handsome tonight. I've come to pick you up. She reached to clutch my hand, but I stepped back. No need. Why not? Someone else will be picking me up. Christina frowned, about to press further when her phone rang. I gestured towards her purse. Not picking it up? Seems urgent. Torn, Christina decided to answer the call. I stood, arms crossed, watching her shift from composure to growing panic. Is your leg still hurting? How could you be so careless? Don't cry. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Hanging up, she turned to me apologetic. Simon, sorry about that. A friend hurt her leg and called for help. I nodded understandingly. No worries, you go ahead. It's not my problem anyway. Christina relaxed, smiling warmly. Simon, marrying you would be my luck. Head home first. I'll find you once I'm done. She rushed off and I casually waved her farewell. Next time, hope you can still smile. 15 minutes later, I sat in the passenger seat next to Karina, scrolling through David's updates. Christina held David's hand tightly, aiding with the doctor's examination. What's funny? I tilted my head to glance at the woman driving, feeling quite delightful. Oh, nothing, just watching monkeys. Karina, have we sent out most of our wedding invitations? As we stopped at a red light, Karina took my hand, gently massaging my palm. Yeah, all sent except to Christina. The light turned green and the car moved. Let's send hers tonight. Make sure she knows not to wear white. Predictably, my phone blew up. It hadn't stopped ringing for 10 minutes straight. But my focus was on kissing Karina, leaving that chaotic phone be. Simon, take a break. I have a meeting, gonna head to my study for it. I looped my arms around her neck and kissed her. Go ahead. Once Karina left the room, I caressed my sore waist, retrieved my neglected phone from the living room. Missed calls 99 plus. Christina's messages over 99. Checked the messages, mostly voice notes, tons of pictures. Her trying to confirm who exactly I was marrying after getting the invitation. Upon learning the truth, she unraveled. I listened to a few snippets of her audio. Simon, this isn't real, right? Just a joke between us, right? This isn't funny. I'm coming to you now. Why aren't you home? Did you move? Simon, answer me. Duh, she couldn't find me at my place. I'm at her sister's now. Those longer messages, I just couldn't be bothered. Ignoring the messages, I typed back. Join my wedding next week. You're welcome. No reply. Just as I was about to sleep, the door erupted in loud pounding. She found me. Lazily. I got up, listening to the door assault that was louder than hammering down a wall, then calmly opened it. Whether from exhaustion or rage, Christina was breathing heavily, lips pressed tight, eyes swimming with an unsettling red hue. Look like your husband just died. I joked. Are you done? Sent your friend to the hospital? Christina stepped forward, grabbing my shoulders and pinning me against the door. Her voice was raspy. Simon, why is the bride's name my sister? It's not too late, you can change it back. I grinned. Nope. Why should I change it? The one who's been in my bed for the past 3 months is your sister. Christina's face visibly tensed up, and she forgot to breathe for a moment. I shrugged off her hand from my shoulder and adjusted my slipping robe, giving her a side glance. Why so surprised? Haven't you always known it was your sister by my side? Christina's pupils trembled, her knuckles cracking from her grip. You knew? Yeah, I said, pushing my bangs aside. Hard not to, considering the comparison between you two is, well, I squinted at her while finishing, just too big to ignore. Christina's eyes flashed, then fixated on a spot on my neck. Suddenly, she got all riled up, pulling on my wrist. Have you and my sister slept together? No duh. I rolled my eyes. Of course we have. What did you think I was doing before you showed up? Christina's breathing became even more erratic, her grip tightening on my wrist. She gritted her teeth, looking almost monstrous. Simon, I was with you for 2 years, and you didn't let me touch you. But my sister pretends to be me for 3 months, and you sleep with her. Why? I repeated her question, chuckling. Because I felt like it. My nonchalant attitude pissed her off. Eyes red, she tried to grab at me again. But next thing, she released my hand, stumbled back a few steps. Karina stepped in front of me, turning to her sister with a face like ice. What do you think you're doing? Christina steadied herself on the door frame, unable to hold back her anger, yelling hoarsely. Karina, Simon's my boyfriend. Are you seriously stealing him? Karina ignored her sister's outburst, turned to me, checking me over. You okay? She asked softly. Christina's face turned even greener. One correction. I'm not your boyfriend anymore. Your guy is still at the hospital, right? A week from now, after the wedding, you'll have to call me brother-in-law. Got it? Oh, and on the wedding day, don't wear the wrong dress. 'Cause I'm marrying your sister. Christina glared at me, silent. After a tense moment, she tried to say something, but Karina, with a wave, shut the door in her sister's face. The banging on the door continued, but we ignored it. Karina scooped me up, heading to the bedroom. She tucked me in and brushed her nose against my ear. You got guts, opening the door without me. I squirmed, ticklish. What's to fear? She wasn't gonna eat me. Besides, with you here, I'm fearless. I grabbed Karina's chin and kissed her. As our lips intertwined, the door banging finally stopped. By the time I woke up next morning, it was close to noon. Karina had gone to work. I took a few days off, relaxed, focused on the wedding. Just as I was about to go for a walk, I opened the door and spotted a shadow lurking nearby. I frowned. Why are you still here? In the same clothes as last night, dark circles under her eyes, makeup a mess. She'd waited all night. This morning, Karina had avoided her sister on purpose. Christina was nothing like her assertive self last night. Now she just looked defeated. Simon, I'm sorry. I overreacted last night. Can we talk? Each word dripping caution. I leaned against the door. Say what you need right here. I'm not inviting you in. Christina bit her lip, wiped her face messily. I thought a lot last night, mostly about the good times we had. Remember a year ago, when I took you to White Peak to watch the sunrise? Your smile as the sun came up? I'll never forget that. Simon, I know having my sister pretend to be me was wrong, but I truly love you. I'll break it off with David immediately. You can hurt me or punish me in any way, but could you forgive me this one time? After we marry, I'll treat you twice as well. I laughed exaggeratedly. Love me? You sure? She stepped closer, voice unwavering. You're the one I, Christina, love most in the world. I suppressed a laugh and opened my chat with David, playing an audio clip. Everything she whispered to David echoed clearly in the doorway. Christina's face froze up. When the clip ended, she looked at me incredulously. Simon, how do you have that? From your favorite little sweetheart. I said, he shared a bunch with me. Even your bedroom photos. Would you like to see? Never in her wildest dreams did Christina expect David to send everything to me to force a breakup. These tokens of their love were, generously put, their keepsakes. But more frankly, incriminating evidence against Christina. The thought of this going public already had her looking utterly gobsmacked. Her expressions were priceless. She tried to play me, but I turned the tables. My tone dropped to icy. Christina, I'm telling you one last time, if you dare bother me again, I'll make sure everyone, your family, friends, and everyone at your Lou group gets a copy of everything David sent me. You know my personality. I mean what I say. Now get lost. Christina staggered a bit, silent for a minute. I was about to impatiently kick her out again when she said, Simon, I'll fix all of this. I clicked my tongue heavily, muttering an insult. Christina turned and walked away, looking utterly dejected. I thought Christina had finally given up, but I underestimated her shamelessness. When she couldn't win me over, she went straight to my mom, knelt down and begged. First, She tearfully confessed her mistakes and promised never to do it again. Then she begged my mom to talk to me, asking for another chance. My dad passed away early. My mom built the family business single-handedly. She's quite easygoing, saying things like, "However my son feels about this, so be it." Her exact words were, "As long as my son is willing, I could pick 18 women for him to choose from. Once he's tired of one, he can pick the next." The reason we agreed to be engaged to the Millers was only because Simon accepted your proposal. Now, what face do you have, wanting to marry my son after being wild outside for so long? Christina was speechless. When she realized my mom was a dead end, she went to beg her own parents. The Millers aren't big on family bonds. Even if you're blood, they prioritize benefits. Karina must have promised them significant benefits. Otherwise, no one would have bothered to inform Christina after such a long time. But marrying me off to Karina doesn't hurt the Millers at all. The families remain strong in laws. So, when Christina knelt before her parents, pleading with them not to have Karina marry me, her parents simply finished their tea, told her to rest early, and didn't speak another word. Undeterred, Christina finally went to see Karina directly. But she didn't even get to meet her. After all, the chairman's schedule needs an appointment. Not even siblings are an exception. The night before the wedding, Karina swayed with me in her arms. "Simon, Christina came to see me again today. She left a message at the front desk, saying she absolutely wouldn't give up on you. She said she'd crash the wedding tomorrow. A lot of people at the company say she's really into you. Being a young lady for so long, she thinks she's the heroine of a drama. Crash the wedding, really?" I turned around, lifting Karina's chin. "If she does crash the wedding, what will you do?" Karina smiled knowingly, pecking me on the corner of my lips. "She won't get the chance. Get some sleep, we have an early morning. I can't wait to see the most handsome groom in the world. I can't wait to see the most beautiful bride either." On the wedding day, I was in the dressing room getting ready. Just as I expected, Christina came looking for me. But she couldn't get close, because Karina had arranged 2 very capable-looking male bodyguards to protect me and several female bodyguards to follow Christina around. Christina couldn't even get near the dressing room door and could only shout my name from the entrance. It's noisy. I straightened my suit and walked to within a meter of her. "What's the dog barking about?" Upon seeing me in my suit, Christina's eyes were trembling. Then, she dropped to her knees with a thud. "Simon, I've completely cut things off with David. I really know I'm wrong, and I sincerely want to make amends. We dated for 2 years, making so many lovely memories. I can't believe that in just 3 months, you'd fall in love with my sister. I know you must still have feelings for me. If I crash the wedding today, will you leave with me?" Her speech was filled with sincerity, but everyone there, even the bodyguards, almost couldn't hold back their laughter. I glanced at her slowly, not even wanting to bother with words, and turned back to sit in my chair. "Get her out of here." The bodyguards obliged, and Christina struggled fiercely, turning beet red. "Let's see who the heck dares to touch me." But before she could really start thrashing, a sharp male voice came from around the corner. "Christina." David arrived. The timing couldn't have been more perfect, setting the stage for a showdown. David looked visibly unwell, hair messy and expression deranged. He immediately started berating Christina, calling her heartless and despicable. Christina stood up, annoyed. "Have you thrown enough of a tantrum? I told you clearly before, all along I was just playing with you. Simon is the one I truly love. Get lost, and don't ever show up in front of me again." David, angry to the point of laughing, shed a couple of tears, streaking his face. "Christina, oh Christina, you're acting like such a pathetic fool now. What do you think Simon is, some kind of saint? He knew about our relationship ages ago, but she never said anything. She played us like fools, watching you as a joke every day, and now you're begging him to take you back? Where's your dignity? Did a dog eat it?" Christina ignored David's ranting. "As long as Simon forgives me, I don't care about dignity or face. But you told me I was the one you loved the most," David yelled, losing it. Nearby, a male bodyguard couldn't help but comment, "Women lie all the time, man. Just let it go. You believe this? True that. I couldn't help but clap for the guard. Christina turned to me urgently. Simon, everything I said today was true. You're the one I truly love. I'm not lying. Christina, you jerk. David finally lost it. Suddenly, a woman came running from behind him, holding the hand of a little boy about 3 or 4. The woman was crying and shouting, Christina, where have you hidden my child's father? Christina didn't even look at them and just stared at the woman and child. No matter who, nothing will change how I feel about Simon. Her words suddenly stopped as if she had been frozen. The female bodyguard blocking her from entering glanced at her, mouth forming an O shape. Wow, someone made quite a mess. Oh geez, turns out that's David's ex-girlfriend and their kid. Christina was shaking all over, staring at the kid intently. Her first reaction wasn't to look at the shattered David family, but at me. Simon, what is it? The guy even has a kid now, are you gonna crash the wedding? Christina was breathing rapidly, frowning and gritting her teeth. I won't let this kid get in the way between us. I'll have him taken care of. As soon as she said that, David went berserk and lunged at her. Christina, are you even human? That's my child. A living being. You expect me to abandon him? You monster. David hit and cursed at Christina, pulling her clothes and hair. His hair was a mess, and the once clean-cut youth turned into a raving madman. Christina, fed up, shoved him hard. Had enough yet? She didn't hold back at all, and David stumbled back several steps, crashing into the woman behind him, who lost her balance and fell heavily to the ground. Her face was as white as a sheet, and sweat popped out on her forehead. My head. Christina, you crazy woman. Soon, blood started seeping from the back of the woman's head, spilling onto the floor. She was clutching her head, wailing miserably, while the kid next to her cried loudly. Christina was obviously shocked by the scene, standing there frozen. I kindly reminded her, why are you just standing there? Aren't you going to take your little fling and his family to the hospital? You better think it through. If this woman really ends up in bad shape, it's a serious injury, and you'll be guilty of intentional harm. There are witnesses all over this room. Consider carefully how you want to spend the rest of your life. Christina snapped back to reality because of my words. She shot me a tough look for a moment, hesitated, then clenched her fists and went to help David up. Before leaving, she didn't forget to throw out her parting words. Simon, wait for me. Now I seriously wonder, when Christina and Karina were in the womb, did Karina accidentally suck up all the nutrients? Otherwise, how else can you explain Christina's stupidly brainless behavior now? What a show. Christina's fiasco didn't actually delay things very long. Really, it was only about 10 minutes. So, this little episode didn't mess up my wedding ceremony. For the wedding, Karina made sure everything was top tier in a city. She was itching to announce to the world that her husband, Simon, deserves the best of everything on this earth. And I do indeed fit the bill. The look in her eyes is as deep as it was when we met 3 months ago, now with an extra depth. My principle's always been, having a woman or not, doesn't matter. If you're gonna choose, go for the one you're most satisfied with. I think with Karina, I picked right. With thunderous applause, we exchanged vows and kissed passionately. Karina caressed my cheek, her eyes unusually bright. Hard to tell if it was the reflection of the lights or tears of joy. Her voice was a little hoarse. Simon, you finally married me. I finally waited for this day. I gave her a cheeky wink. Don't celebrate too soon. If you pull any stunts, I can up and leave without a backward glance. That's not ever going to happen. Karina said this firmly, word by word. In a corner no one noticed, 2 bodyguards were holding back the just rushing in Christina. One covered her mouth, keeping her from shouting, while the other pinned her to the wall, immobilizing her. She watched, eyes wide open as I and Karina kissed and concluded the ceremony. Her face faded from anxious to defeated, finally collapsing lifelessly down the wall, slumped on the floor. When I glanced at her, I mouthed silently, "Idiot."